Yo guys, what is going on? It's your boy Mix, and today we're gonna be reacting to Geography Now Denmark. So last week I reacted to the Sweden and Norway episode, so you guys have not checked that out, check it out. Link will be down below. So we're gonna be reacting to another Scandinavian country called Denmark. Very excited. So when I think of Denmark, the first thing that pops out in my head is that really hard to pronounce word. It's not a word, it's a dish. You guys have a very popular dessert. It's like a red porridge with cream. This is what it's called. So I'm using Google Translate and I'm gonna try.
Rød grød med fløde. Rød grød med fløde. Rød grød med fløde.
I don't know how you pronounce this. Let me know if you guys are Danish. Let me know in the comments. I really want to nail this pronunciation. It's just so hard.
Rød grød med fløde.
It's like
Rød grød med fløde.
you guys' O is really hard to pronounce. I think it's a silent D as well. And then the R is pronounced different. I don't know, bro. There's so much things going on with this dish or this word. Anyways, but yeah, every time I hear Denmark, that's the first thing that pops in my head. That dish or that word that I can't pronounce. So, but anyways, let's get right into the video. Let's go.
Remember in the Angola episode I mentioned how I went to Denmark one time and bought a sandwich that was $21? Well, this was that sandwich and my reaction was
$21?
like, $21? Oh, this better be the best sandwich I've ever had in my life. You got lucky.
$21 for a sandwich. You guys are rich as fuck over there.
It's time to learn geography.
Hey everybody, I'm your host Barbie, Legos, Vikings, and Roll med Fløl. We got a lot to cover, so let's jump in.
Wait.
Barbie, Legos, Vikings, and Roll med Fløl.
Yup, it's this one. This is what I'm talking about. The Wallkolmeflood. What I literally, literally at the start of the video, he mentioned it.
Hey everybody, I'm your host Barbie, Legos, Vikings, and Roll med Fløl. We got a lot to cover, so let's jump in.
Yo, he actually nailed that pronunciation. Shout out Barbs, he nailed that. I still can't.
Denmark, the link between the rest of Europe and Scandinavia. So much to discuss. Denmark is classified as a Nordic country, hence located in the Northern European region, even though it's kind of like the southernmost state in the Nordics. Full disclaimer, ignore Wikipedia. I'm going to pronounce the location names in their proper Danish context. So here we go. Denmark is made of the Jutland, not Jutland Peninsula that connects to Germany in the south, as well as 1,419 islands.
A lot of islands.
443 are named and 74 are inhabited. With the largest island being Sjælland, not Zealand, which is not to be confused with Dutch Zeeland, which is not to be confused with New Zealand, although they did get their name.
I can't take it! That's too much information!
It is connected to Fyn Island, not Finn Island, by the Great Belt Bridge completed in 1998. The country is divided into 5 regions, the capital being Copenhagen, located on Sjælland.
Yep.
Copenhagen is home to a myriad of historical sites, palaces, statues, residential units that are
very expensive city. That's all. Yeah, I heard. Yeah, in Denmark or any Nordic countries or Scandinavian countries, very expensive cost of living. So
all the same height and style, with pockets of colorful, quaint, cozy shops and cafes and dangerous bicycle lanes that you are not supposed to walk on. Now, this is where things are going to get a little spiced up. And by spiced up, I mean freezing cold and covered in whale blubber. Denmark, for those of you who didn't know, is a kingdom, one of the last surviving ones in Europe, and is currently under the headship of chain-smoking Queen Margaret II. These still fall under Danish sovereignty and make up the massive Greenland island and the little Faroe Islands.
You actually forgot. Greenland also is owned by Denmark. Denmark also owns Greenland and Faroe Islands. I actually did not know this. I mean, I knew Denmark owned Greenland, but I forgot. But I did not know that Faroe Islands was owned by Denmark. So that's interesting, actually.
Both of these places are radically different from mainland Denmark. For one, Greenland is primarily inhabited by native Inuit tribal peoples that live on the island and is 80% covered in ice year-round. The Faroe Islands are a conglomeration of 20-ish mystical, cloudy, windy islands that have this crazy...
Yo, imagine you live right here. It's probably very lonely, actually. There's not much things to do, but I feel like this is a good, like, 3-day vacation spot. I don't know. It's, like, pretty nice to chill in here for a short amount of time. I wouldn't suggest living here, but if you were to stay in, like, a overnight or a 3-day vacation. I think it's a pretty cool place,
Looks like
pretty
it's about to
chill.
spill over the cliffs into the ocean. These two areas have their own self-governing home rule, otherwise only depending on Denmark for military, justice, currency, and foreign affairs. Otherwise, I mean, that's pretty much it. I mean, historically, they did
Interesting.
try to kind
Very
of create an
interesting.
empire by colonizing parts of the Caribbean, Ghana, India, and then in the Nicobar
Ghana.
Islands in the Indian Ocean, but they kind of ran out of money and ended up selling everything to other countries. Too bad. It would be awesome to see people in the Indian Ocean speaking Danish.
Yo,
Nonetheless,
what flag is that?
mainland Denmark
I
is
actually
kind
don't
of
know
like
what
a
that flag is.
fast-moving economic machine. Let's talk about how. Now, when it comes to land makeup, Denmark is pretty flat. I mean, the highest point, Møllehøj, is only about 170 meters tall, and it looks like this. Otherwise, only about 13% of the country is forested, including tree
Damn.
plantations, and the rest is pretty much used for agriculture that can produce enough food to feed about 15 million people. It's about 3 times the size of their entire population.
Yo, you guys are eating good over there. 15. They have a lot of plants or agriculture to feed 15 million people, and their population is like 5 million. You guys are eating good.
One thing Denmark is actually famous for growing is non-produce plants like grass, fodder, and Christmas trees. The highly sought-after Danish Nordmann fir has been classified as the Rolls-Royce of Christmas trees, and every year investors from Germany, the Netherlands, and even the UK jump in at the end of November and grab whatever they can before it's gone. Now, one thing you need to know is that like many other areas in the Nordic
Interesting.
region, Denmark's weather can be quite dreary. First of all, Denmark is the only Nordic country that doesn't really get a lot of snow. Denmark is kind of like the mud pit located below the jet stream.
Oh, cause yeah, it's surrounded by other countries like Norway and stuff. So it's more on the inner side. So they rarely get the cold.
Blocked by Norway and
I
the
guess.
UK.
Could
This
be
means
wrong.
that even though it gets really cold, pressure systems rarely cause snow. This is also pretty much why everybody dresses like a J. Crew fall fashion line model on the streets. If you're gonna get wet and freezing, you may as well look good while doing it. Otherwise, yeah, I mean, pretty much the rest of Denmark is just rolling green plains with sandy beaches and quirky little islands that people like to hop over for camping trips in the summer. If we were gonna talk about Greenland and the Faroe Islands, we would get a radically different story of mind-boggling, captivating cliffs, bluffs, sea stacks, glaciers, fissures, icebergs, and mountains. If you don't know what a Mulan is, it's not this, but this.
This Moulin is large enough to swallow a school bus.
Yo.
But we'll have to say that for another.
Swallow a school bus.
Imagine you're just swimming and then you just fell into a hole. That's terrifying. What the hell?
But we'll have to say that for
Jesus.
another video that'll come
You're
out in
dead.
9,374 years. In the meantime, let's talk about the people. Now, this is going to get really fun. Denmark's people are really unique in their cultural, historical, and postmodern upbringing. First of all, the country has about 5.7 million people and is one of the highest taxed
They have more population than Norway, I think. That's
countries
crazy.
in the world. About 89% of the country identifies as ethnically Danish, about 11% are others. Some of the largest groups in the other category being the Polish, Germans, Turkish, Romanians,
European,
Iraqis, and
yep,
Afghans.
other
Now, when
Europeans.
it comes to Danish culture, there's a lot behind it, but in a nutshell, Vikings. Vikings pretty
Of
much had their
course,
start in
Vikings.
what is now present-day Denmark, and whom pretty much dominated all of the
Norway,
Nordic regions
Denmark,
as far as Newfoundland
Vikings.
and Canada to Estonia, which is why most of the Nordic states and regions can pretty much understand each other when they talk. Danes, Swedes, Norwegians, and Icelanders can generally understand each other as they have the same basic linguistic structure. Sure, there are subtle discrepancies, but overall they can kind of get by conversationally.
Speaking of Finland, I think I'm gonna react to Finland's episode next. So
Granted, there's a saying, the Norwegian and Swedish languages sound like dancing fairies, whereas the Danish language sounds like a dude with a potato in his mouth. By the way,
that's actually kind of facts. You guys' words and pronunciations are very difficult. Like I said, the Wolgolmufla, that simple word I can't even pronounce.
silent half the time, a ton of the letters are never even used, and don't even get started on A, U, and O. I kind of discovered a little trick. when I
Very
went to Denmark.
complicated.
When speaking
Jeez.
Danish, all you really have to do is kind of like pronounce the first part of the word that you think makes a sound, and then just kind of like give up on the rest of the word. For example, Copenhagen, Nybroggen, Løvstrand. I'm literally
Not
just
gonna lie, he
listing
actually
names of places
sounds
in Copenhagen that I've been to.
Danish
Honestly,
when
though,
he
you
actually
really
says that.
won't have much of a problem getting around if you speak English. Over 80% of the entire country, mostly the younger generation, speaks proficient English to the point where they don't even need subtitles when watching American TV shows and movies. Also, keep
Fair
in mind
play.
that Greenland has its own language that is
80%.
completely
That's pretty good.
unintelligible, as it's an Inuit language closer to the indigenous Inuktitut and Yupik languages found in Canada and Alaska. And Faroese is pretty hard for most Danish people to grasp, as it actually has more words rooted in the ancient Norse language, and it's actually more intelligible to Icelandic. Back to culture, though, Denmark has definitely left its mark, whether it's notable figures like author Hans Christian Andersen, philosopher Søren Kierkegaard, or whether... That's actually
Wait, how?
author Hans Christian Andersen, philosopher Søren Kierkegaard, or
Someone Kikuko.
whether... That's actually how you pronounce his name.
Wow.
It's not Soren Kierkegaard. It's or whether it be the invention of the loudspeaker or Legos or their love of handball.
Oh, Lego.
Impeccable architecture.
Legos is from
love of
Denmark as
cuisine.
well.
Noma in Copenhagen, by the way.
Oh, yeah, I've
being
heard of
the best
this.
restaurant in the world with
Best
tastes
rated
that feature
restaurant.
live
I want to
ants
try
and
it.
moss. If you're really going to get a feel
wanna go
for
here,
Danish
actually.
culture, though, you kind of have to know about Janteloven and Hygge. The funny thing is, Danes are kind of brought up in a social mindset that is kind of integrated into their subconscious, known as Janteloven, which kind of translates to something like, you are not better than the crowd, which I know sounds kind of depressing, but it's really trying to instill a sense of equality and communal cooperation. Hygge translates to something like spend good times with friends and family, and it's like a cozy thing. Of course, Denmark is known for being ranked one of the
Interesting.
happiest overall countries, even though they are also kind of one of the highest ranked consumers of antidepressants as well. But hey, they still pull off everyday life looking oh so good, even if it's during one of those really loud annual emergency drills.
Okay, Christine, explain what's happening right now.
Denmark is testing the sirens. We're being attacked by the Germans.
Oh, so they have these siren drills, I'm guessing regularly. That's pretty scary, bro. Those sirens.
I'm really scared right now.
Let's run to the security basement.
The Germans are coming! Speaking of Germans,
Oh yeah, World War II and stuff. The Nazis.
now, we all know that one person we're all kind of jealous of because they're kind of rich, well-adjusted, and have a ton of friends, and they're like kind of good-looking. Well, that's Norway. Denmark is a little bit rockier. No, but seriously, for such a small nation, Denmark has a huge entourage of friends, and it's almost kind of hard for anyone in the world to dismiss them at a party. As a founding member of the EU and NATO, Denmark has had roots planted in diplomacy for decades. First off, Denmark generally gets along with Germany. Business between the Germans is a hugely integral part of their economy, and Denmark acts like the gateway to Scandinavia for them and the rest of Europe. The US and the UK are incredibly close as both tangible and cultural imports have been established for centuries. For a while, the Danes even took over parts of the UK, which is why to this day the English language still retains hundreds of Old Norse-derived words like leg, dog, and window. The closest friends
Oh,
though,
so
would
those
have
words are Danish.
Old Norse-derived words like leg, dog, and
Window, dog,
The closest friends, though,
leg.
would have to be the Nordic countries, Finland, Sweden, Norway, and Iceland. These four
course,
are without
the
a doubt
Nordic
Denmark's
countries.
closest friends, even though Sweden and them have kind of had more wars and battles historically than any other two states in the world. They've moved on and grown up. Out of the Nordic countries, though, Norway would probably be considered their best friends. Danes are obsessed with Norwegians and often consider Norway the girlfriend they took away from Sweden. In conclusion, Denmark is the rich, rainy rascal that always seems to show up on time for every party, but somehow gets all his work done in an organized, efficient manner. Stay tuned, Djibouti is coming up next.
Yo, it's done? Yo, that was a really short episode, but very interesting episode. I actually learned quite a bit. So what did I learn from the video? You guys are very rich. And actually did not know that Faroe Islands is from Denmark, so very interesting. And you guys' language, bro, it's really hard to pronounce, bro. I really want to nail this pronunciation, by the way. This simple word.
Rød grød med fløde.
Very hard to pronounce. But thank you guys so much for watching. That's gonna wrap today's video. I would love to visit Denmark one day if I had the budget. It's a very expensive country, similar to other Scandinavian countries. But yeah, I would love to go there one day, hopefully in the future. For a, I don't know, like a week visit would be nice. And I think he didn't mention in the video that you guys have very popular, like, one of the things that you can do in Denmark is like go on a hot air balloon. I would really want to try that too. Very popular in like Copenhagen or something. Those hot air balloons for tourists. So I want to try that too if I go to Denmark in the future, hopefully. But that's gonna wrap today's video. I actually learned quite a bit. Thank you guys so much for watching. Peace out.